I received a great newsletter question from one of my readers, and we're going to dive into it today. I'm Elliot Apple, founder and financial planner of Kindness Financial Planning, and someone recently wrote in and said, how can we use the next crisis with my parents to get their estate plan done or other things? And I thought this would be a great question because it's a common question that I receive is, my parents aren't doing XYZ, how do I move this along so it's less of a burden for me later and I can honor their wishes? And so let's dive into it. The first thing I'd say, and I say this on my videos and on my blog frequently, is to hire an elder care consultant. If you have the resources, they can be a great resource to figure out how you're going to approach these conversations and what you should prioritize. And that is where I would actually start, is through that conversation either with them or through family members or through your own thinking. What do you want to get done? What are the number one priorities? And actually list them out, because when that crisis comes up, you want to be able to check something off that list. And I always want to prioritize something, but be willing to pivot, because we never know what our parents are going to want to do and what you can get accomplished. And a simple example is maybe they need an entirely updated estate plan. They need a new will or trust, durable power of attorney for financial powers and for medical powers, advanced directives. Maybe they need the complete package because they haven't done it or hasn't been updated in years. But maybe during that crisis, you can't do everything. That can be a really long process. Sometimes it can take a few months to get that accomplished. So instead, maybe you focus on getting one thing done. Maybe it's the durable power of attorney for finances, so you could step in and help when things go wrong regarding bills or other things that happen with their finances. That could be one simple example where you're prioritizing, but pivoting as needed. The other thing I would say is use this opportunity to put yourself into their shoes. And what I mean by that is try to empower them to make their own decisions. Let them know how it benefits them, but also how it benefits you. And parents are different. Sometimes they want what's in their best interest, and that's going to be their primary motivator. I've seen it the other way, where they don't really care for themselves what happens, but they don't want to be a burden on their kids. And so they're willing to go out of their way and take extra steps to get something done. So depending on how your parents are wired, figure that out and have that conversation through that lens. So if it's through the lens of, hey, my parents want to make sure things are done properly for them, frame it as, hey, we want to get this done so we can honor your wishes. So when XYZ happens, we're prepared and we make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible for you. Alternatively, if it's more of a, hey, I don't want to be a burden on my kids, say, hey, I'm really worried about this thing when it happens. Maybe you're hospitalized and we don't have the ability to make medical decisions for you. And the stress and pain that I'd have to go through to get a form signed and go through the legal process when that happens while trying to grieve what's happening, that'd be a real burden and a real challenge for me. You could frame it that way. So figure out which way that is and weave that into the conversation with them. Now, some people may disagree with me here, but depending on the state of your parents' cognitive function, I think lies are okay to a certain extent if you're trying to get something accomplished. And I'll give a simple example. When my dad was diagnosed with a variety of illnesses, and one of them was cognitive impairment, at some point he lost his phone and we couldn't easily get the number back with the first rep that I talked to. And then I went through the process and figured out we could get it back, but due to my dad's substance use issues and some other things going on, there were actually people we didn't want him to get in contact with, or they didn't want them contacting him. So although we had the opportunity to get my dad's number back, we just lied. And we said, hey, we can't get it. Here's your new number. We programmed some contacts that are important in your life, and that's that. And so things like that do along the way to protect them. And I know that's going to feel uncomfortable to lie to your parent at certain points, but it kind of becomes a necessity depending on what's happening health-wise. I'm not saying lie all the time, but there are circumstances where it can be beneficial for you and for your parent. When you're in the crisis, use that opportunity to ask questions. So there was a lot of boring we'll say, or downtime when you're waiting in the emergency department, or you're hospitalized and there's only so much television you can watch, the doctors have already rounded, and it's quiet at this point. Use those opportunities for silence to weave in important questions. Hey, if XYZ happened, what would you want to have happen? If this happened, where should I go from here? What's important to you about this? There's a lot of different ways to frame those questions, but some of the best conversations I had with my dad was during those boring times when there wasn't really anything else to do. There was a lot of silence, and it just gave me an opportunity to ask some questions. It didn't always, he wasn't always in the mood for it, but I find that in a hospital, sometimes people are reflecting on literally life and death decisions or health consequences, and it can be important to figure out what their values are, because we're not sitting around here oftentimes, at least most families aren't, asking, hey, if you were unable to feed yourself, would you want to live? Or if this happens, what do you think about that? So use those opportunities to ask those questions, and if you can, social workers can help there, or palliative care doctors, depending on what's going on. You don't necessarily need to lead that conversation, but that's also where an elder care consultant could chime in. There's also resources online to ask different questions. So use those opportunities of crises to figure out what's important to your parent. You may know, or it may have changed throughout their illness. Obviously, crises are not fun, but they can be opportunities when things go awry to get your parent into a better situation or to help you out in accomplishing something. I remember when my dad called me one day saying he couldn't live at home anymore, and this was something we had been working on for years. And so we took that next step in that crisis to make some changes. It didn't work out super well, just to be honest with you, but it was an opportunity to take a step in the right direction and move things along, as opposed to keeping at home where he was failing. So crises can be good opportunities to make those changes. You just want to be prepared and prioritize what that is, and sometimes that can happen in family meetings. Sometimes that is more helpful with an outside expert. So I'd be curious, what tips would you offer someone who's in a crisis with their parent? What would you do? Put that in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it. Enjoy.